Good afternoon, coaches. This is Diego with Inform Sports. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. What I'm going to do for you is break down our recruiting questionnaire called the MAP. For those of you that don't know what the MAP is, essentially the MAP stands for Mental and Physical Evaluation, where we use video response to give you insight into a player's football IQ, situational decision making, and their fundamental understanding of the responsibilities that come with playing their position. Now, on top of the mental piece, we also give you access into their physical ability, their highlight tape, and we also ask them questions about their motivation outside of football so you can get to know the athlete before you ever use any resources to get in touch with them, fly out to see them or fly them into campus. And so, taking a step back, if you're interested in a prospect, all you'd need to do is reach out to that prospect, say, hey, we're interested in you. Here's a link to the map. They go ahead and click that link when they get home. They take it in 15 or 20 minutes, and then you automatically have access to view that profile as soon as they're done. So what I'm going to do is take the next couple of minutes to show you an example of a profile. I'll show you the information that you can gather from it, as well as an example of that video response component that allows you to see and hear your prospects talk football directly to you. And there's so much you can gather from seeing that athlete speak as far as their demeanor, their character, their thought process, how they're presenting themselves to you as a player. So let's jump right in. If you were to log into the map, this is the homepage you would see. So you have access to all the profiles of athletes that have taken the map. So we currently have 41 athletes in here. We just launched a few weeks ago, and so we're gathering as many athletes in here as we can. The good news is you'll have your own link, like I mentioned before, so you can invite any number of prospects you want. And like I said, 20 minutes, they take it, and you'll be able to access that profile. So let's say for the sake of this example, I'm going to show you Trey People. So you can use our search and filter options here. You can search by name, by class, by position. So that really helps narrow down the list depending on what exactly you're looking for. So in this case, I'm going to show you Trey People. We'll double click on his name, and that'll bring us to his profile. So I'll start at the very beginning. The first thing that players do is they fill out a basic bio. And this will give you information like, what high school they're currently attending, their contact information, and their parents' contact. And so that's the first thing you'll get out the gate. The second page of the basic bio gets into that physical component of the athlete, right? We focus on the football IQ and the mentality piece, but we fully understand that the physicality matters a lot, and you want to have access to their physical metrics. And so you'll find information here like their height, weight, obviously their position, other information like their estimated NIL price range. So what that athlete is expecting, if any, for an NIL budget. And again, some of these answers are great to have. So you don't have to reach out and call the athlete to get all these answers. You can just find them here. And then when you do call the athlete up, you already have all those basic questions answered. You can move forward and build that relationship in a better, more efficient way. So we have NIL, we have verified combine numbers. If you would have selected yes, he could have put his 40, wingspan, shuttle run, all those combine numbers you'll have access to. Any personal trainers, 7-on-7 team, track and field. If they had that, they can insert a verified link to their track and field numbers. Next, you'll find their current offers. And so the athlete can put up to 6 current offers. So you as a program can understand, what teams are already after this athlete, and you can sort of shape up knowing this information. So you can see he's got some offers from Michigan State, Louisville, Maryland, etc. Next, they'll be able to upload their academic transcripts. They can add in any involvement as far as clubs or programs in their school or community. And lastly, they'll be able to upload or copy the link to their highlight tape. So in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you can see, physically where they stand. Are they up to the standard that you have for your program? If all this checks out, then you say, cool, physically they match. Now let's get into their football IQ and understand, what we like to call neck up recruiting, which is really hardly available on any other recruiting platform. So let's jump right into that. Let's say, hey, that checks out. You'll scroll down and you can immediately start to dig into their football IQ. So how it works is we show the athlete a play, and they watch that play, and then we have a question that pertains to that play, and then they're able to record themselves answering that question using video. And so they have 1 minute to think and 2 minutes to answer. We wanted to replicate a whiteboard scenario where you sat that athlete down and you're asking them questions. And again, this is saving you tons of time, energy, and resources because you can get this information now without having to use the resources to fly that athlete into campus, sit them down, and do that whole thing. And so, just to show you an example, the first question we get into, identifying potential blitzers. What would he do if the coverage rolls to a one high look? And so, each position has their own series of questions and plays. None of the positions have the same questions, and that's the great part about this. It's unique to the position, and so you can actually extract information based on that athlete's, current position that they play. So here's, question number one. Question number two, again, another play. Now we talk about their read progression, hot routes. And so I'll actually show you his answer to this question here just to give you a glimpse into what that video response looks like and how much you can extract from that.
So my read progression against the defensive coverage and gun dirty left 60 W cross X zig, I would peek the Z with that post, and if that's not there, I would kind of read with the F with that post going over. If that safety or that backer goes with him, then I throw that dig, and if that dig ends up being covered, then I throw the flat to the tailback. My hot routes would probably be F with a little hitch or a 10-yard out. The hitch because that linebacker is not going to get out there fast enough, and the 10-yard out because that safety ends up rolling high into a cover three, and that corner ends up sitting with that dig on the X.
Okay, great. So just in those 40 seconds, if all you've seen is this athlete on a highlight tape, he has his helmet on, you don't know, even what he looks like, what he sounds like, his demeanor, again, how he's presenting himself to you as a player. Now you're able to see that in video format. You can evaluate this in the comfort of your own office and start to really dig into who this athlete is as an individual as well as an athlete. So the Football IQ component has 3 different IQ questions that have plays attached to them. In this case, we'll get into cover 2 versus cover 3. How well do they understand some of the fundamental concepts that come with playing in their position? Question 4 is typically an open-ended question where they're able to ask or answer a question about, in this case, their leadership style, how they command the huddle. So you get to understand, how they function a little bit. Is he a outspoken, loud leader, or is he more of a lead by example type of guy? You're able to hear that straight from his mouth. And then question 5 is a little bit of playbook retention, where we ask them to, to recall what they remember about the first 3 plays that they watch. Now, this gives you a little insight into how sharp they are. Are they paying attention? Do they have photographic memory? How well are they going to be able to come in and learn a playbook? And how much effort are they really putting into this? And, do they really want to play at the next level? So that wraps up our Football IQ portion. In addition, you'll be able to add in your notes into any one of these questions so that at the end of the month, you can come in and review your notes. You don't have to watch all the videos over again. You can rate this profile 1 through 5 star, and you can bucket the athlete into, not an option, not a fit this season, potential, favorite, or must-have recruit. So again, this will get bucketed into your evaluated prospect list. You can go back and say, okay, who did we rate the highest? Who did we select as a must-have recruit? And then from that list, it'll narrow down to look, okay, here's the top guys that we're really interested in. So that's the Football IQ component. We also, the last thing we'll do is ask them questions about their personality, questions about who they are and their interest outside of football, as well as a couple of kind of unique football questions that give you insight into that component. So I'll show you an example of some of these questions. I won't go through every single one for the sake of time, but I'll show you how this can help you in recruiting the athlete, especially from some of your ground level recruiters who are taking the time to really learn as much as they can about the athlete, so that when you do go out and build that relationship, you have ammo in your pocket and you're not just coming up with whatever you found on Twitter. So we have questions like, what best describes their learning style? Are they auditory, visual, read and writing, or physical? This helps you build a lesson plan on how you can best teach this athlete. If you could teleport anywhere in the world, where would it be? His answer was somewhere in Oregon besides Portland. Simple question, but if you're a recruiter now, you can use this when you call the athlete up. You say, hey, I noticed you wanted to go to Oregon. Well, guess what? I used to live there. Coaching staff is from there. Here's a couple restaurants you should check out. Next thing you know, you're building that relationship with the athlete, all from a question and an answer that you would have never known if it weren't for the map. Do you have any problems switching positions? What's a unique aspect or skill you bring to the football program? This one's video response. Page 2, we get into, hey, what are a few things that make a program feel like home? What kind of leader are you? More questions about their playing style, what they like to do with their time off. He says he's a gamer, but he also likes to go bowling with his dad and his brother. So there's a little piece right there where if he does come to campus on a visit, first place you're probably going to want to take him is the bowling alley, with his dad. And so you kind of have some of this information that other schools might not have, and that could be the reason that you build a stronger relationship with that athlete. So we give you all kind of questions to get to know the athlete on a deeper level. And so that's the player ID portion, which is the last part of it. But just to recap, it starts with the physical component: height, weight, combine, NIL, academics, and highlight tape. That checks out. We get into their football IQ. How well do they understand the fundamental concepts that come with playing in that position, especially at the college level? And lastly, we get into the player ID, which gives you insight into their mentality, what their interests are, and getting to know the athlete as an individual, not just as a physical athlete. So that wraps up our kind of breakdown of the map. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, email me, call me. I'll be more than happy to show you a demo. We can hop in, invite a couple athletes you're interested in. You can see their video response answers, get to know them on that level, and then we can get your program on and using the map so that you can start evaluating right away. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm available for any questions, and you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks.